What's up YouTube, Jim Comics here, and I saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie this Wednesday when it released, and my gosh, this movie is amazing. I'm going to review it, obviously, but I'm just going to tell you right now, it is the best video game adaptation by a long shot in my eyes. Because not only is it a good movie, like the Sonic movies were good movies for sure, but it's a good movie that really pays respect to all of the past games in the series, and still retains most of the crazy elements of the series. Like the Sonic movies definitely nurtured down a lot of Sonic's crazier elements to fit into the real world. This movie just completely goes wild of the Mario lore. At the same time, it is connected to the real world through Brooklyn, which I'll explain. So yeah, this movie is amazing. I definitely recommend to go see it as soon as you can. And seeing it on opening day was just amazing. But I did have kind of a weird theater experience. I'll tell you about it. But before we start, please like, subscribe, and comment down below your favorite moments from this movie if you've seen it. And if you have not, just tell me your expectations down below. Because going into this movie, I completely expected it to be a joke, or to be kind of, you know, an Illumination film, but not one of the good ones. Because I like the first two Despicable Me's and the Minions movie. Surprisingly, I know most people don't. But I didn't like the third one. I don't like anything else Illumination has put out. Lorax is cringe. Like the Grinch was definitely worse than the Jim Carrey version. And Secret Life of Pets and Sing just don't appeal to me at all. I've seen them and I just don't like them. But this movie is nothing like most Illumination movies. There's only one scene in this movie. Spoilers ahead. I'm gonna spoil the entire movie while talking. Like I don't want to hold anything back. This movie is just amazing. So yeah, spoiler warning right now. Just go see it, then come back. But there's one scene that feels kind of like an Illumination movie, and that's probably the early scene where Mario and Luigi are fixing a pipe and there's a dog trying to attack them. I mean, it feels like something out of the Secret Life of Pets. But besides that moment, the rest of the movie really doesn't feel like an Illumination movie. It feels like a Nintendo game or like a bunch of Nintendo cutscenes extended, with albeit some Illumination charm, which does work in this movie. Definitely. And yeah, there are no fart jokes, no lowbrow humor here. And yeah, most of the jokes were actually pretty good. I laughed out loud a lot of times, especially with Bowser and Donkey Kong. Like I think Donkey Kong is the funniest character in this movie, and possibly the best. Because every time he's on screen, he's saying something funny or doing something funny. Whether it's flexing his pecs with his tie on it, which was just hilarious, while the DK rap is playing, awesome. Or just telling Mario how much he hates him. So, yeah, let's talk about the humor a little bit more. The humor in this movie, like I said, is really good. Most of it hits. I don't think there's anything that did not hit for me. Like, it never goes for some low jokes or whatever. It just remains pretty consistently good with the humor. And, who knew we'd get Bowser playing the piano, singing a song about Princess Peach in this movie? Because we knew Bowser was a villain, obviously it's a Mario movie. And we knew Jack Black was going to play him, and Jack Black did talk about singing a song in this movie. But we had no idea it was going to be over Peach, and it was going to be such a, I guess, love ballad of a song. Because, yeah, the trailers completely hid the fact that Bowser's motivation in this movie was trying to marry Peach, which is his motivation in every game, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know it is in Odyssey and Super Paper Mario, but it's kind of implied in the rest of the games, I guess, which is why he's kidnapping her. So they definitely had that in this movie, which was, you know, a really good thing for video game fans, and gave Bowser a lot more depth than just, oh, I want to capture the princess and become powerful. Speaking of Bowser's plan, it's kind of weird that Luigi did get captured this time around when it's a Super Mario Bros. Movie. That's a complaint a lot of people give, and while it was kind of weird not to see Luigi that much, and I did kind of want to see him more, at the same time, giving Princess Peach more character development than she gets in the games was still pretty good, and I enjoyed that. I thought her character was really nice and interesting, and she served to give Mario a lot of motivation for how this movie would be better. But, at the same time, I don't know why Luigi had to be a damsel in distress here. Maybe no one could have been, but it doesn't bother me that much. I still love this movie, and that it was just a small drop in the bucket, man. The animation in this movie is silky smooth. I mean, it's Illumination style, but it really works here for a Nintendo movie. And everything looks great here. All the redesigns for the characters, while they first looked kind of funky to me, especially Mario, he looked kind of weird talking. By the time I was watching the movie, I didn't really care too much about it. Even Donkey Kong's design, which I really did not like when it first came out, because I'm a hardcore Donkey Kong Country fan, and I like the way he normally looks in the games. But even his movie design grew on me, and when it was in the movie, I didn't really notice or care too much, because it's Seth Rogen's voice coming out of a gorilla. I don't care. But yeah, all the characters in this movie were definitely different than their video game counterparts, but in logical evolutions of their characters. For example, Mario is not exactly the go-getter he always is. He definitely has that spirit, but at the same time he has a lot of vulnerability to him. When he first starts off, he's kind of crap at everything he does, which makes a lot of sense because I mean a lot of Mario players start off pretty bad when you first play the games. Like, not gonna lie, I was really trash as a kid, so it just reminded me of myself in a lot of ways. And like Mario Maker, how you die so many times and it shows you all the X's of where you died. So yeah, he starts off as kind of a loser, and he's very vulnerable about his dad not agreeing with he and Luigi quitting their job to start their own business, which gives him a lot more depth than he would have otherwise had as just the everyman who always solves the problems. Similarly, Princess Peach is not the damsel in distress anymore, and well, I mean, she doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses here. She's definitely not stepping on Mario's toes in the movie at all, which I really appreciate. I think she was just a really solid character. Luigi is the coward he's always been, but yeah, we don't see much of him in this movie, which is kind of, yeah, like I said, kind of a shame. And Toad here, at first I thought I wasn't gonna like Toad in this movie, but I thought he wasn't too bad. He was pretty interesting, and I liked him. And like I said earlier, Donkey Kong and Bowser are the best characters in this movie by far. Donkey Kong, like Mario, has a lot of vulnerability added into him, and he's kind of pompous and arrogant here, all in a vie to impress his dad, Cranky Kong, who in the games is his grandfather, but I guess Donkey Kong Jr. doesn't exist here. Good, I guess. Nobody likes him. And yeah, like I said earlier, Bowser's motivation carrying over from like Paper Mario and Mario Odyssey is great, because it just gives him way more depth. The voice acting in this movie was definitely something I was worried about, like most people. And I'm proud to say all the voice acting really worked. Like Chris Pratt's voice was perfect in this movie. I wouldn't say perfect, but it definitely fit. It didn't leave anything to be desired. It just worked, okay? And I feel like the trailers definitely showed off his worst moments, or just the least Italian sounding moments, because there are times where you can kind of hear the Italian in his voice. And at the beginning, during the commercial, that's a callback to the Super Show, Mario and Luigi use their classic voices here. And don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it's still Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, because they learned the voices. But yeah, Charles Martinet also makes a cameo in this movie, but we'll get to cameos soon, okay? Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, it works a lot for the character, it just sounds right. I was kind of worried about Michael Keegan as Toad, but it grew on me. And whenever he screams, it does sound like the game Toad, so I was like, you know what, that's fine. We don't have to hear that annoying video game Toad voice the whole time. Keegan-Michael Key's voice here worked a lot for the character. And I'm a big fan of Seth Rogen's voice work and most of his acting work. I don't like him that much as a person, but whenever he does any roles, he's really good at it, and he's a good director. So, besides the point, he as Donkey Kong definitely worked here. I mean, he just fits the gorilla, and we did get the laughs that we know so well from Seth Rogen. And Jack Black as Bowser, of course, worked here. And you couldn't really tell it was Jack Black, besides when he screamed or was singing. Which, yeah, during the song, you could definitely tell it was Jack Black. But who cares? Jack Black works here. And Kamek definitely works as well. And the Koopa General, apparently he's Scott Menville, who is the voice of Robin in Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go, which I had not known. I had seen him in the trailers and I knew he was the Blue Shell, but I did not know it was Scott Menville, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of characters, while we're on the topic of characters a little bit more, but first I'm gonna say Chris Pratt's voice, like, I never really had a problem with it in the trailers that much. I was just like, whatever, I don't care too much. But the longer I saw the trailers, the more I was like, you know what, it's not that good for a Mario voice. But yeah, I was very surprised that it was good here in the actual product. So speaking of characters, I'm glad that we got all of Mario's family here. You know, we got his father, his mother, and a bunch of their like relatives. It just added some more to the Mario lore, I guess, instead of just being Mario and Luigi. And it's definitely better than the 1993 film where Mario was sort of Luigi's surrogate father. It was just a weird choice. And what's his name? Foreman Spike was in this movie, like everyone was like going crazy about, but his role was nothing that was not what I expected. I thought it'd be sort of an ally to the brothers, but he was just kind of a bully. Which, hey, I'm happy they're using characters from the games that nobody remembers for these sort of smaller roles. Which makes me wish we got some sort of Nintendogs reference of the dog at the beginning, but oh well. Speaking of families, the Donkey Kong family here is as great as ever. I mean, I love the Donkey Kong Country series, like I said. I'd say Donkey Kong's 2D platformers are better than Mario's. They're not as iconic, but they're still like perfect platformers. Tropical Freeze and Country Returns are two of my favorite games of all time. So seeing Cranky Kong here, Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong, and Chunky Kong even, in cameo roles was just cool. It was just cool to see. And many people have a problem with Cranky Kong's voice acting from Fred Armisen, but at first I was surprised. I was like, that doesn't sound that old. He sounds more like a shrilled voice younger person, but I didn't care too much. And it's probably nostalgia goggles here. I'm kind of just like overlooking a lot of these flaws because I enjoyed the movie so much because I love Mario. But at the same time, I don't think Donkey Kong's voice was too bad. I mean, I kind of expected it to be more old sounding, but at the same time, who cares too much? These aren't the same characters as the game exactly. These are just adaptations of them. And it didn't deviate as much as most video game adaptations do. So I'm thankful for that. The world building in this movie is amazing, but I do kind of wish we got a little bit more than just Mushroom Kingdom, Jungle Kingdom, Rainbow Road, Bowser's Castle area, or like the Darklands from Mario 3. I did appreciate that we got all of those areas explored, especially the Jungle Kingdom, which I found to be my favorite. But at the same time, we kind of passed by Toast Arena, Yoshi's Island, Bob-omb Battlefield. These iconic locations were kind of just cameos, which is fine because there's definitely room for sequels and spin-offs in this universe. The plot of the movie was definitely not the most complex thing ever, but I mean it's based on the Mario series, so what did you expect? It's the average Mario plot, except instead of Princess Peach being kidnapped, it's Luigi. And for what it is, it really works. I mean, it's more like a platform for the characters to be themselves and to interact with each other in really iconic and cute ways. Speaking of iconic and cute, let's talk about cameos. By far my favorite cameo here was the Punch-Out cameo in the restaurant at the beginning of the film and at the end of the film. Seeing all of the Punch-Out fighters in the background, I didn't see Lil Mac himself, but I remember seeing Glass Joe and Bear Hugger, two iconic villains from the Punch-Out series, or boxers from the Punch-Out series, on the wall. Just seeing all of those characters on the wall is just pretty interesting. It's just interesting. It's cool. Okay, and another cool Nintendo reference was Mario playing Kid Icarus on his NES after his first day of work with Luigi, with the new business, which is pretty cool. But it kind of creates some weird thoughts in your minds. The NES exists here, and if it does, why? So the NES exists, but does Mario not exist? And if that's true, the NES is here. Is the Shigeru Miyamoto and Nintendo make it? Like what? That's so weird, but it's still a cool little Easter egg thing here. And speaking of Easter eggs, the music in this movie is all Easter egg. Like they're all, well, not all, but the soundtrack for this movie is all Mario themes reworked into, you know, cinematic pieces of music, and they're honestly amazing. And my favorite is like the dun 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 dun. Whenever we hear that, like when they're in the pipes, or whenever Bowser's playing the piano with Kamek next to him, that part just made me really nostalgic. Those notes. Also hearing the Donkey Kong theme, or the Donkey Kong defeat theme from the arcade game, when Donkey Kong was defeated by Mario, was awesome. Captain Toad's theme, I think, was there for a second, or for a few seconds, when Captain Toad, or Toad or whatever, came to Mario and they met. Which, that one does give me a lot of nostalgia. I don't like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker that much nowadays, but when I was younger I used to play it a lot, so it gave me some nostalgia. And of course, just most of the Mario music in this movie just slapped. All of it slapped, actually. Like not one of them felt lazy, or like they were just taking the video game music. They took it and they made it very cinematic, and it really worked here. However, there were a lot of 80s songs, and most people did not like this, but personally I didn't care too much. I liked it. I liked Holding Out for a Hero because, I mean, who doesn't like it? And it worked in that scene because it was kind of ironic. It was supposed to be like a joke setup that Mario was gonna fail that course after almost succeeding. So we almost got like a Mulan moment there, but nah, he failed. So I was fine with Holding Out for a Hero. I mean, Take On Me, I liked seeing the Donkey Kong world right there, so I just didn't really think too much about the song playing. It just kind of lulled me into the moment, so whatever, it was fine. And Thunderstruck was kind of weird. That one was the one that was like, well, why is that one playing here? When they were like designing carts, but at the same time, did not detract too much from the experience. Didn't detract at all. So I mean, I didn't care too much. The way that they converted power-ups into the movie, where Mario eats them, I mean, or like touches the fire flower or eats the mushroom. I mean, it's weird to see in the movie, but it's exactly what you'd expect from it. Mario eats the mushrooms when he touches them, I guess, in the games. You just don't think about it while you're playing, but when you're watching, it's kind of like, it's weird, but it's not bad. It's not bad by all. Not bad at all. The Mario Kart sequence here was really awesome. I'm not gonna lie. The little race between all the Kongs and Bowser's army was just awesome. Seeing Mario jump off the track, or jump off his cart and then go onto another like Koopa cart or whatever, is awesome. The way that he and Donkey Kong beat the Koopa general was pretty cool. It was just a really solid scene, okay, and it really, you know, it really looked like something out of Mario Kart 8. Donkey Kong and Mario's rivalry here is also pretty awesome, considering that Donkey Kong is Mario's first villain, and kind of they've had quite the rivalry over the years with the Mario versus Donkey Kong series, or Mario and Donkey Kong series. as well as of course the original arcade Donkey Kong. And I just like whenever Mario and Donkey Kong interact together in like Mario Party or Mario Kart. I like it when those worlds are combined, and I mean it's fine that they're separate for like Donkey Kong Country and the mainline Marios, but I still like seeing them together because they're all kind of one cohesive universe. Because they both stemmed from the original arcade Donkey Kong, so I was just happy to see that. I do kind of wish we got more Diddy Kong, but that's just me being whatever, like a Nintendo fan here, getting spoiled on it, I guess. I kind of wish we got more from him than just like a cameo, but who cares too much. The after credit scene of this movie, the first one was like a joke throwaway or whatever with Bowser singing, and I liked it, I appreciated it, it was just funny, okay? But the second one of Yoshi's Egg was a little bit underwhelming because you kind of expected something we haven't seen yet, because we saw a bunch of Yoshis running on Yoshi's Island. But, I mean, it's the green Yoshi, the iconic green Yoshi, so I have no complaints there. I just hope when he's introduced eventually, like the next Mario movie, I guess, he is not going to be talking. I hope it's not Vin Diesel's voice or something. I hope it's just, you know, Yoshi, like little Yoshi songs, Yoshi, whatever, Badon, stuff like that. Speaking of which, I feel like there's a lot of potential here for future movies, obviously, of the whole Mario universe open to them. They could do like Wario and Waluigi, they could do Galaxy stuff with Rosalina. It could try Sunshine, but I don't think that one will work as well. I mean, you can introduce Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings. You can have Daisy. I mean, there's just so much more left open from this movie that I'm just ready to see what they make next. And, like, Nintendo really hit it out of the park of this first installment in, like, the Nintendo... I don't want to say Nintendo Cinematic Universe because it just sounds weird, but I guess Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Or Mario Cinematic Universe, because I'm pretty certain they wouldn't cross over all other fighters for, like, Smash. But it's possible. Don't quote me on that. I just think right now they're probably gonna just focus on the Mario universe itself, like Mario, Donkey Kong Country, Luigi's Mansion, stuff like that. Maybe even Captain Toad. But if they do make a Zelda movie or a Metroid movie, I really doubt they'll cross over because I don't know if they tonally make a lot of sense. But eventually there could be a Smash movie, so I mean don't count that out. So yeah, this movie was just awesome. I absolutely enjoyed it, and every moment of this movie was amazing. I just loved it. Okay, I was smiling like the entire time. Maybe not the dog scene at the beginning. I was kind of expecting cringe at that point, but once they entered the Mushroom Kingdom, I was like, you know what, this movie is awesome. This is an awesome movie. It really cares about the games. There's a lot of heart put into it, and I love it. So that being said, on the entertainment scale, I'm completely blinded by nostalgia here. I give it an A+, because I was smiling the entire time. I was never looking away. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Okay, and on the quality scale, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. But like I said, I am kind of biased to like Mario a lot, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess. I have been playing Mario since I was a kid, so... Now, I'm assuming if you're seeing this movie, you like Mario, so you'd probably have the same nostalgia as I do. The Superstar was kind of a weird plot device. I'm gonna bring this up quickly. It was kind of weird to see it, because you kind of think Bowser wanted it to be powerful, and he sort of says he does, but it's more like a bargaining tactic of Princess Peach. Which I thought was weird, because we saw it in the trailers a lot, and it was kind of emphasized that Bowser finally found it after a long time. I mean, if the penguins have had it the whole time, why did it take him so long to get it? But, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, I love this movie. Definitely go see it. And if you want a better review, a more file review, because I'm kind of just freestyling it right now, go check out my Instagram page, JM Comics Arts. And I have an actual review for the movie where I go into a little bit more detail than I am here. Or I go into a more structured review of it than I am here, where I'm kind of freestyling and just spitting out my random opinions on it. So go check that out as well. And thank you for watching. JM Comics out. Also, real quickly, here was my theater experience. I was there on opening day, so of course there were a bunch of little kids there. So it was me, my family, and my friend from school. So like we were enjoying the movie, of course, but there were of course little kids screaming around us, and there's this guy next to us who just kept pointing out all the stuff that were like references. Which I mean, I wanted to do that too, but like I only pointed out a few to my friend. I didn't want to go crazy with it. But yeah, it was kind of a noisy experience. I'm not gonna lie, one of the worst theater experiences I've had. But it's normally I don't have too bad theater experiences. So yeah, it was probably one of the worst, but still not that bad. I still enjoyed it. So yeah.